In a land where winter's icy grip never truly fades, nestled among the rugged fjords of Iceland, a young boy named Thorfinn sits captivated by tales of a distant paradise. Leif, the weathered explorer with eyes that have seen far horizons, weaves stories of Vinland, a mystical realm beyond the reach of war and strife. As snowflakes dance on the wind outside their wooden hall, Thorfinn's imagination soars, picturing lush forests and bountiful fields far from the harsh realities of Viking life. But even as dreams of peace fill the boy's heart, a darker truth lurks in the shadows of his own home. He agrees to sail forth and fight one final time, hoping that this concession will satisfy the bloodthirst of his former brothers in arms. What he cannot know, as he prepares to leave the warmth of hearth and home, is that his acceptance seals a trap laid with cunning malice. He wedges himself between barrels of supplies, heart pounding with each footfall of the crew above. Storms lash the ships, testing the mettle of even the most seasoned warriors. Thorfinn, hidden away, endures hunger and cold. Sustained by glimpses of his father standing tall at the prow, a figure of strength against the tempest. Thor's, his warrior's instincts never truly dulled by years of peace, senses the wrongness in the air. He prepares himself for battle, not knowing that his greatest challenge will be protecting not just his own life, that of the son who has followed him into danger. But even as the boy's admiration for Thor's grows, so too does an uneasy feeling that all is not as it seems. The two warriors circle each other, a dance of death played out against a backdrop of chaos. Thor's, seeing his child in mortal danger, makes a choice that will echo through the years to come. Thorfinn, swept up in the madness, finds himself fighting for his life alongside the father he sought to emulate. It is a brutal awakening to the realities of the world, far removed from the peaceful dreams of Vinland that once filled his nights. With a roar that seems to shake the very heavens, he throws himself into the fray with renewed vigor, no longer fighting for his own survival, but for the future of his son. Thorfinn, unable to contain himself any longer, bursts from his hiding place with a cry of anguish and fury. Thorfinn takes his first steps on a journey that will span years and test the very limits of his spirit. The boy who listened wide-eyed to tales of peace now embarks on a path paved with blood and revenge, driven by a hope that somewhere beyond the horizon lies a land where the cycle of violence can finally be broken. He will carry with him the weight of this day, the lessons learned in blood and steel. His search for Vinland becomes more than a child's fantasy. It transforms into a quest for redemption, a way to honor the sacrifices made and find meaning in a world torn apart by violence. As the oars dip into the icy waters and the sails catch the wind, the boy who dreamed of Vinland finds himself swept into a journey far more perilous than any he could have imagined. The boy who stowed away in search of adventure now stands on the precipice of a life, defined by vengeance and the relentless pursuit of a promised land that seems further away than ever. The peaceful fields of Vinland fade like a mirage, replaced by the harsh truths of a world where strength and cunning rule supreme. A ski-load, a mercenary as cunning as he is ruthless, leads a force lying in wait. This silver-tongued serpent has been tasked with ensuring Thor's never returns from this mission. A betrayal orchestrated by those who fear the strength of the man they once called brother. Thorfinn's father, Thor's, tends their modest farm with calloused hands that once wielded sword and axe with terrifying skill. He has grown up on tales of his father's legendary prowess, whispered in hushed tones by those who remember the days when Thor's name struck terror into the hearts of enemies. As they turn towards home, Thorfinn stands at the rail, his young face etched with determination. The stories of Leif the Explorer no longer seem like distant tales, but a challenge, a call to find a better way in a world that knows only the language of the sword. Ambushers pour from hidden coves, their blades glinting in the pale northern sun. Thorfinn, his presence still unknown, watches in horror and awe as his father becomes the warrior of legend once more. Thor's moves like a force of nature, each swing of his weapon a death sentence for those foolish enough to challenge him. Now faced with the prospect of losing his father to the world of battle once more as the battle rages, Thorfinn's world narrows to a single point of focus: his father, surrounded by enemies, fighting with all the skill and fury of his Jomsviking days. The boy's heart races, torn between the desire to help and the paralyzing fear of discovery. It is in this crucible of violence that Thorfinn takes his first true steps into the world of men and war, a baptism of blood that will forever change the course of his life. Thorfinn makes a decision of his own, one born of youthful bravado and a desperate need to prove himself worthy of his father's legacy. For Thor's harbors a secret. He was once a feared Jomsviking warrior, his past stained crimson with the blood of countless foes. Now he has traded the clash of steel for the gentle rhythms of village life, hoping to bury the ghosts of battles long past. Yet fate, it seems, is not content to let old warriors rest. On a day when the fjord lies still as glass, a ship cuts through the mist, its dragon prow a harbinger of unwelcome change. Aboard, grim-faced messengers bear a summons that shatters the fragile peace Thors has built. The Jomsviking warlords, those ruthless masters of the Viking world, demand his return to their ranks. The choice laid before him is as cold and unforgiving as the sea itself. Fight once more, or face execution, along with all he holds dear. With the weight of his family's safety pressing upon his broad shoulders, Thors makes a decision that will alter the course of many lives. As the village bustles with preparations for Thor's departure, young Thorfinn's heart burns with a mixture of fear and excitement. Under cover of darkness, as the long ships creak against their moorings, Thorfinn slips aboard like a shadow. Days blur into nights as the fleet cuts through choppy seas. For, unbeknownst to father and son alike, a web of treachery has been woven around this voyage. As the fleet nears its destination, tension coils like a spring ready to snap. The moment of truth arrives with the screech of steel on steel, but even legends can fall. As the clash of weapons reaches a fever pitch, Askeladd reveals himself, his cold eyes fixed on Thor's with a mixture of respect and deadly intent. In that moment, as father and son lock eyes across the blood-soaked deck, the true cost of this betrayal becomes clear. The battle's outcome hangs in the balance, blades flashing and lives ending in the blink of an eye. As the sun begins to set on this day of blood and betrayal, the true journey of Thorfinn begins. In the fading light, as the last echoes of battle die away, Thorfinn's path is set. The long ships, once symbols of adventure and glory, now bear the scars of treachery. And so, with the taste of battle still bitter on his tongue, and the dreams of Vinland burning brighter than ever in his heart,